Hello? I'm not able to hear any audio.
Hello, there's not any audio at the moment. We're still waiting for the board to join.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Folks that are, we need you to turn down your, yeah, both of you. You're muted.
Can you hear us now?
Brandon and Jack, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Victoria. I don't see that Dolores is connected or the board's connected, so.
Okay. Thank
Yes.
you for letting us know. We have been meeting for about 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, we haven't heard
Hang
any.
tight. We're going to work on it. Thank you.
Yep.
They can't hear the board or see the board.
Okay, can you hear us now, Brandon?
Yeah, I can see and hear you, Dolores.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you for
Well-
letting us know.
yeah, we'll continue. I'm so sorry. Okay, so
So the question was, I wasn't sure if you had thought about a rental rate and whether you were thinking market rate or affordable housing rate.
Well, there will be no restrictions on the rental rate at this apartment. What I can tell you, the experience when we formulated the idea for the project is two friends looking for apartments in Lyons, one of whom who works here. And seeing that the state of affairs is people looking for 6 months and then ultimately finding an apartment for $2,200 a month, that is very, very small and dark. The point is, I'm intimately aware of what the state of the rental markets are. My attitude about the affordability of the apartment is based on the financial modeling which we've done on this project. What I can say about that is, for us to make this a reasonable use of money at this time and to build an apartment like this at 6.75% interest rates, is that we can rent this apartment, which is significantly more sizable, brighter and newer than others, and we'll be able to do it probably around $2,100 a month. We think that that's the basically the affordability criteria from our perspective.
Mhm.
And one thing I will just note about that is that the rents are challenging, but with regard to Proposition 123, we'll be looking at building a variety of affordable housing, I'm sure, throughout Lyons, but getting residents to add additional units at their own home where they're a live-in resident and it's actually a owner-occupied property with rental has some characteristics and advantages as far as community building that I think are really valuable. And that's why I'm here to not only ask for your permission to build this ADU, but also to advocate for others to be able to as well.
Mayor Pro Tem, did you have a question?
More of a staff question, so should I wait?
No,
No, okay. I'm just curious on the room that's the storage and office. does that need to have a closet? No,
It does not, no.
okay, great.
For note, that will all be unfinished concrete floor and there is not livable.
Oh, I was meaning upstairs,
Oh,
the upstairs apartment. I know that the bedroom has a closet. I just didn't know if that second room is required to have a closet.
oh, it is not.
Okay,
It does not require, there are supplements that are involved and closet is not a required
okay,
addition for a room for an ADU.
okay, great.
May I ask a follow-up question? We did read that a window is.
window in the bedroom.
But a closet, I'm pertaining to her question.
You're good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, great. Thank you very much. I think now we will open the public hearing, correct, Attorney Dimmons?
That's correct. If the presentation by the applicant is complete, then the next will be open the public hearing.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll open the public hearing on this matter. Would anybody like to speak? Okay, and we will close the public.
Wait,
Was there someone
Hello?
online? Sorry.
hi.
Hi, would you like to speak to the matter of the ADU?
Yes, my name's Jack Justice from 346 Park Street. I live right down the street and I think it's a great idea. Personally, I lucked out to buy the home that I have, but prior to that, I was a renter in Lyons for about 9 years. And during that time, I remember having friends say, oh, Lyons is really cool. I don't see any rentals online. And I'd say, yeah, there aren't any. You kind of gotta know people to find out about them. So to know somebody who wants to open one is a great idea. And I think it would help solve some of the challenges that we're all trying to solve with affordable housing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else online? Okay. Then we will close the public hearing and I would entertain a motion. Trustee Dati, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, please. Thank you. I move to approve resolution number 2024-09, a resolution approving a conditional use for a detached accessory dwelling unit at 431 Evans Street.
Thank you. Is there a second?
No, you're for Evans. Evans, you said Park Street. Sorry. The agenda says Park Street.
Mine says Evans.
You had said Park, I'm sorry, in your
Oh,
motion.
I'm happy to repeat. I move to approve resolution number 2024-09, a resolution approving a conditional use for detached accessory dwelling unit or ADU at 431 Evans Street.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion.
Yes.
What would you like to say?
Well, I just like to commend residents such as Mr. Hallstein for making the effort, making the investment to bring extra housing to our town. As we've heard, our town is just too cool. We're too hip. Everybody wants to live in Lyons. When people come to Lyons, they want to move here and we want them to be able to live here. We want to welcome friends and neighbors to our community. And I really appreciate that that we're revisiting the ADU conditional use. And I really appreciate you taking the time and energy and funding just to be able to create extra housing. So I realize it might not be affordable to all, but it is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment that will be rented like that.
Can I make a small comment in response? Just, I am a pretty capable person at navigating websites, somewhat knowledgeable about government affairs. This process has been very, very challenging. And if you really do want to see people build ADUs, making it easier is a promising thing, making it more human. Because it is a lot to work on right now. So thank you.
Other comments from the board? Well, Mr. Halstein, I would like to personally apologize for the delay in getting this done, for the confusion. That should never have happened, and we're addressing the reasons that it did happen. Will change in the future, and I am very sorry that it caused a delay on your end. And so I just want you to know that. I'm in support of this ADU. I think it's fabulous. And with that, I will call for the vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
Would you, one of you turn off Mr. Trustee Eddings?
Oh,
Thanks.
okay.
Thank you, you're first.
Thank you.
Thank you very.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
I think every ADU should be celebrated.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to general business resolution 2024-10, a resolution of the town of Lyons, Colorado, accepting the housing futures study by Bohannon Houston, Inc. Is there a staff report?
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't think I've met a few of you,
Oh, I'm
but
so sorry.
no, you're good.
Let me introduce, I forget, I've been working with you now a little bit. I am pleased to present, Philip Andrew Bowen, but he goes by Andrew. So if you hear Philip, you might think they're talking about our old planner, but it's not. He goes by Andrew. So, Andrew has taken the position as our new senior planner, comes with us with lots of both municipal as well as private sector experience. And I can tell you, in just working with him for 6 days, he has jumped in with both feet and learning quickly and has provided already really valuable insight into our processes. So he is going to follow up from where you last met with Derek online, and they met after that. Andrew spent about another 8 hours on this plan with Derek and met with Derek and made some not modifications significant enough to need another hearing, but just typographical errors, grammatical changes that make it easier to understand, changing some charts around. And so I think he's very capable to let you know what that was in the meantime. And welcome.
Yes, as was noted, went through the document and just kind of did a full edit. Of kind of taking into account, the public comment in the short time that I've been here, but also attending that meeting virtually. And then just a few meetings I had with general public. There was some confusion about some of the narratives and especially some of the map that showed where development should and should not occur. And I think there was a lot of confusion about how to interpret that map and then also how that map is interpreted throughout the document. And then other places we cleaned up. That was really one of the only significant changes in the housing strategies themselves. The kind of the affordable versus attainable was prevalent in the first part of the document. But then as those strategies carried through, we lost that attainable perspective. And that's important because, as we look at the demographics and kind of socioeconomics of Lyons, oftentimes people that live or want to live here and work here, they often cap out and then you can't actually move into one of those affordable units. So placing just as much emphasis for attainable housing, that's something that was a change that we made in those strategies and some of those, some of the summaries above. And then kind of lastly, one of the big changes we made was where there were acronyms or departments or statutes, just adding more narrative around those so the general public could understand. But the document in itself, as was stated, it didn't change dramatically. It's just a cleanup and to bring it down to more of a human level and take out some of the jargon that was present. As a planner, I often have to pull my planner speak back and make sure that I'm right for everyone. But yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions about the changes, let me know.
Any questions for staff? Would you mind still talking about the map in particular that you just referenced? Is that something that you could show us to
Sure.
for the clarity? I was wondering if it's the one that's on page, well, actually, what's the page number 10? Or if it
It's
was,
with the red and green dots.
yes, okay.
Yeah, so I'll share my screen here, so I'm bringing it up right now. But as it's loading, so the big, not critique that I had, but wanted to make it clear that those dots, they didn't represent kind of a general attitude of the public, we don't want development.
Mhm.
And I think that's where some of that confusion came from, is we had neighborhood blocks where it was all red. And, you know, at least from the outside, it looked like, oh, well, this neighborhood just doesn't want development lines. But what that map was trying to say was that we just don't want it here. So it was better explaining that those green and red dots were tied to where development should be and where it should not be. And that was a question that I got a few times. And again, my first read was, man, this neighborhood really doesn't like development. But that's not what the public exercise was about. It was just tied to where things should be and should not be. Yeah, sorry, hold on, I'll bring it up real quick. Sorry, this is gonna be my red line version. Let's share the screen. Yes, I'll zoom in, but yes, this was the map, that got some critiquing. And again, it was making it clear that these red dots weren't individuals saying that affordable housing or attainable housing should not be developed in town. It was just, they didn't want it there, or they didn't find it appropriate. And I think those are two very different concepts, and we certainly do not want to have that message in our assessment or plan that a majority of town does not want development. It's just tied to that location.
Well, I appreciate it because I definitely agree with you as I look at this map. It is so much more clear. The dots in particular versus it being felt like this shadow that was looming like a cloud. It was not, it was quite confusing. So I wanted to make sure that this was what you were referring to, because
Sure.
I do think it is easier to understand. So I appreciate that.
And we beefed up the narrative for this in both this is the executive summary, but also where it was further down in the document. The narrative better provides that explanation.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. That's what I needed.
Other questions for staff? Okay, then I would entertain a motion. Let's do that too.
Thank you. I motion to approve resolution 2024-10, a resolution of the town of Lyons, Colorado, accepting the housing future study by Bohan and Houston Incorporated.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there a discussion? I have something. First, I would like to thank everybody, every single person who came out to our last meeting where we took public input, who was online, who was thinking about it, who emailed us. I want to just express my appreciation and gratitude, because that's how we make better decisions as a town, when we have more public involvement. So I'm very, very grateful for that. The next thing I want to say is that I received an email with a document from some folks in the Confluence neighborhood, and referencing our idea last time to have an introduction and an appendix. I thought about it and I thought a cover sheet might be more appropriate. That's what I printed out, and I'll read it out loud in just a moment. That's what I printed out. That's what you have in front of you. And so what I am going to propose as an amendment is that we append this cover sheet to the beginning of the PDF of this document so that it travels with the PDF. I think the staff memo did a fantastic job. And I also know that when we look at documents, sometimes the staff memo gets sort of divorced from the actual document. So that way this will be a part of the study. So if you'll pardon me, I'm gonna read this out loud. The board has printouts in front of them. It's dated today, January 29th, 2024. The Town of Lyons Housing Futures Plan was funded by a grant from the state of Colorado and conducted by Bohannon Houston, Inc. It represents a consultative work product intended to inform elected officials, town staff, and the broader Lyons community about the current housing situation and what viable possibilities there may be for additional housing development in Lyons. At the time of this writing, the plan does not contain ratified or adopted policies or laws that bind the town to any specific future development plans, nor is this plan meant to indicate or commit to any particular policy or law. Interested parties should consult the deed restricted buyout properties, Dr. Bob management plan. Should consider that a vote is required to rezone town-owned open space under section 16-15-70 under the Lyons Municipal Code. And should keep in mind infrastructure needs analyses for potential new developments. The spirit of the information contained in this cover sheet has been requested to be added to this plan by 15 persons residing in the Confluence neighborhood, and the sitting board of trustees has agreed to do so. So that is the cover sheet. I know Mayor Pro Tem has a suggestion to the language, and I want to see if anybody else does before Mayor Pro Tem proceeds. Okay.
Before I go, well, yeah, okay, never mind. I would like to make a recommendation that in the very last paragraph where it says 15 persons residing in the Confluence neighborhood, I think I'd like to be a little bit more informative, I guess is the better, maybe the best word. So I'd like to recommend that it read as a whole. The spirit of information contained in this cover sheet has been requested to be added to the plan by the residents living between Evans and Prospect who were most impacted by the 2013 flood. In addition, the sitting Board of Trustees has agreed to do so. I'm happy to reread that if needed.
I'm just taking some notes.
And trustee Farrell, that's in the cover sheet.
Yes.
Correct.
That would not require a motion, just FYI, but
Oh, okay, good.
just direction to staff if that's what the board wants to do.
Okay, okay.
I have why don't we just add it to the introduction to the document without all the comments about who requested it? We don't usually, when we make modifications based on the public state who said it. Why don't we just add it to the true introduction of the document so they're always together?
Yeah. I'm wondering, do we need the last paragraph?
Yeah.
At all?
That's a good question, and I think we do. And I think we do because it's the truth. I think it's important to this neighborhood to what's the word I'm looking for? To have this memorialized in some way, apart from the minutes of board meetings.
But if you put it to the whole document, it's saying holistically as a community, this is how we all feel. It's not just singling out one neighborhood. I understand that they felt strongly, we heard, we made adjustments. But I think it's even a stronger statement if it just goes into the intro of the document that the Board of Trustees, da-da-da. But only because I've sat through enough public meetings over the years that neighborhoods always come out to support their neighborhoods, and that's what we're supposed to do. But I really want this to be an affordable housing document for the entire community. And those two things are going to apply no matter what neighborhood it is, not just in that little section of town.
So for clarity's sake, when you're saying adding this to the beginning of the document, so there is the executive summary.
Yeah.
This could be put in right above that.
Sure.
So right after contents. Then. What would you do? You would have this as
Just put it as an intro statement.
introduction statement.
First thing people read, if you would like it to be that, but that way it is actually part of the actual document and not just a snapshot of what, a handful of people who this represents the whole community feeling this way.
Yeah, and
I think that's pretty valid.
there's probably room, even on the acknowledgements page, kind of first and
Oh,
foremost.
acknowledgements, you could do it then by the neighborhood maybe. if you wanted to.
And that's at the end.
Page three.
Page three.
So the place to put it in will, and wherever it fits in, but, page 3 or page 4.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But yeah, if it's kind of the general mentality of the board that this needs to go first, putting it, there certainly should be, it's 2 paragraphs, should be room on the acknowledgements.
Well, so I mean, I think that's pretty valid that it is. We are in essence in the last paragraph referencing what were the areas that we're really concerned about, that we make sure that we identify the Dr. Bob management plan and some of the municipal codes, which are also listed at the end. So thank you. And you're clearly stating that this is not to be ratified or adopting policies that will bind the town. So I think that was something that was really important and confused about. So maybe the very last paragraph is not necessary.
What do you, trustee Williams?
The reason that I would feel that it's not, I was very moved by each of those presentations, by the heart, the soul, and what everyone coming from the Confluence area was saying. And how even things in the redefinition of defining of what is not in the floodplain, and just how crazy making that would have to be. I think acknowledging that's what got me thinking about, we need to make sure people know that this is not something we're adopting. This is for action, that there will still be required action. But I personally also felt that way about the whole document, that I want to be clear that these are things that are being recommended to us, but not necessarily things we're acting on. And so to me, it's not just that area. That area is, those folks are the ones who got me first thinking about it. So that's why, to me, I'm not sure that it is necessary.
Okay. Trustee Dillman, what do you think?
So I kind of agree that it should go in the acknowledgements at the beginning, and I think the first 3 paragraphs and that the last one is not necessary.
Yeah, I see it actually even in the introduction and the executive summary. I think that would flow really well in the introduction. In the acknowledgements, there's already a paragraph there about how this project was made possible and part of funding, and we readdress funding in that first paragraph of the cover sheet. So I feel like we could maybe consolidate those 2 things. And I think the last paragraph, I guess where I feel like it's a little redundant is just saying that the sitting board of trustees has agreed to do so, because I feel like just by accepting the Housing Futures Assessment, we are basically agreeing to do this. So I don't think that we need to state it specifically. Yeah.
Thank you. Trustee Elson?
And I kind of agree with him putting it at the beginning. I could go either way with the last paragraph. I mean, I think it adds some value, but I also feel like we don't want it to say that it's just for the Confluence. We want to say it's for everywhere. So that's the only reason I'm kind of saying we should take it out. So, but anyway, I think it's good.
I see those points. Okay, so it sounds like the majority of the board would like to remove the last paragraph. I personally think that the place to put this is in the introduction immediately under the word introduction, so before the paragraph, like the variety of housing needs assessments taking place. So just pop it in there, and it's three short paragraphs, which I will email to you.
Oh, it's already.
Were you typing as I was talking?
He's copying and pasting.
I actually have a question about that. My question would be, does that, by putting it there, reformat the entire document? Or,
Whether we put it in the intro or the acknowledgements, we'll have to adjust the glossary. It'll throw, it's no big deal. We can make that adjustment though.
because I would be happy to say whatever makes it easiest on staff is what I would recommend.
If you put it in the front, it puts the DOLA down and the glossary really needs to stay alone. So either way, it's gonna shift the page down. So we'll just address the glossary
Okay.
and it'll be numbered.
Okay, great.
All right,
Are you good with that?
yep,
I'm good with that.
Yep. Okay, great. Then if there are no other comments, I will call for the vote.
And that motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Moving on, there is an information item regarding Boulder County Community Planning and Permitting Department docket Z 23-002, the Lyons area rezoning temporary moratorium and zoning map amendments. This is an introductory informational session, so this item will come back to us at a future meeting, so we're not
Yeah.
taking any action tonight.
Thank you. I received, as you guys, I'm sorry. Back in September, the Boulder County Commissioners instituted a 6-month moratorium on all commercial and industrial properties in unincorporated Boulder County within our 3-mile planning area. And the map is up on the TV of those areas. That should look familiar to you. I was contacted last week by Boulder County planning staff to let me know that they've scheduled the public hearing on this issue. And it's going to be on February 21st with the Planning Commission for Boulder County. But they wanted to give us a heads up that the staff recommendation, so that we have time to decide if you want to comment either from the Planning Commission or from the trustee level or attend the public hearing, that they are recommending that all of these parcels that are zoned commercial, business, and general industrial and transitional will be rezoned to ag.
Can you zoom in on the map?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
So, at first when I heard this, I was a little shocked by that, and then we talked a little further about it, and of course, we'll see the whole report when it comes out. Their staff memos will come out on February 14th. So if we want a written statement in their staff memo, they need it before February 14th. That's why I added it to tonight's meeting, so you can decide if you want this as a full discussion item at your next meeting. Basically, what they have said the memo is going to say is that all current uses that are zoned, these 3 zones, would be listed then as non-conforming uses, and they could continue unless they are altered or expanded. So it's not upon the sale, it's if the current zone is altered or expanded, the current business. But they feel after they put this moratorium in place and studied it further, every one of these lots lies in a floodplain. And they felt that in their overview of this, that as these businesses change, it's most appropriate for them to return to ag uses. So I am just going to give you this information for now. As soon as we get the full staff report, we'll make sure to forward that. But I want to give you just a little time for this to soak in before your regular meeting. When I questioned the staff a little further, she said that they felt this would actually assist Lions with our development in that if someone wants to change the use, they would have to annex into, if they want to stay commercial of a different sort, they would have to annex into the town to stay commercial or general business. But if the use changes and they're not contiguous with us currently, they would revert to ag.
Okay, and
It's a lot to think about. That's why I wanted to throw this out there now.
when they say expanded,
Mhm.
what does that mean?
Altered or expanded. That's the word she used over the phone. I only have a verbal right now.
Okay, because those, I think those kinds of
Word.
details are very important, and I wonder,
Especially in our general industrial areas.
yeah, I wonder whether, when we, assuming that we have more, that people want to have more discussion on this, which I assume that we will. I wonder if it would be useful to ask somebody from Boulder County staff to come.
Okay, sure.
I think this is a great example of a situation where Alliance needs to be at the table,
Yes.
collaborating on solutions together.
So my thought is also all of these current property owners should be invited to the table initially when we do this discussion a little bit further at the next meeting.
She said that they have sent referrals to everyone and they have received no response yet, as
Well-
of last week.
You know, having looked at the docket website, which I encourage everybody to do, there's a link in the packet. It can be a little confusing for those of us who are not in the planning profession.
Agree.
So, we'll really appreciate your translation skills and helping us.
I would like a refresher course on what does non-conforming use mean, please?
That means you can continue your current use as is,
But it doesn't conform to the current code.
but it doesn't conform to the current zone, yeah.
So,
So we have several in town. We have several in town if that would help you, like places that might have had. I'll give you an example. 2 houses on one parcel that are zoned R1 and they're unrelated. You know, they should be in current zone, they'd be in R2. But they were used that way for, like the 317 Evans. That was a non-conforming use in an R1. But when he went to change it, he then had to bring it to current code.
Okay, so I'm a business owner
Yes,
and I have one of these properties.
yes.
I want to sell my business.
Mhm.
How does that impact my sale?
They told me that if the current use stays, you could sell it as is.
so for example, if it's a dispensary, you'd have to sell it to somebody else who will
Use it
continue
as a
a dispensary,
dispensary.
but if you turn the dispensary into a donut shop,
Yes.
then it would revert to ag.
Ag. Or you would have to annex into the town to keep your commercial zone.
And they've heard from none of these owners.
That's what she said as of last Friday.
But I'm just gonna. As a business owner, as somebody that would be wanting to sell, I'm then telling the person, by the way, you're gonna have to spend X amount more money. Because roughly, how much is an annexation cost the person that wants to do an annexation?
I don't know. Oh, for in town, to come into town? Well, it depends. It could be the cost of an election if it's a larger parcel. It would be the cost of, you know, publications and notices to your neighbors and on-site notices. Public hearings, it's probably time and money. If you have to do an election, it's gonna be $10,000.
Right, right. So I would say that maybe Boulder County has reached out to these people, but I actually think that we need to do the effort to reaching out to them too and saying, this is really important for you to know.
That we're gonna be discussing it on this date.
Yeah, and I also want to know how this intersects with the comp plan.
Okay.
You know, I'd love to see a staff analysis of whether it meets our comp plan or not. We're being asked as a referral agency, and we really don't have a vote on. what they do, but, I will say that Boulder County staff has been very, from my perspective, willing to collaborate on solutions that work for both of us, which I think is a giant step forward.
What are the opportunities to also say, well, we feel that we need a little bit more time to understand this parameter, and we are going to kindly request that you delay this another month or two. I know that goes beyond the moratorium deadline, but I don't
Well,
foresee
this
that
is
being an
going to
issue.
their planning commission and then it will go to the county commissioners.
Yeah, so the planning commission doesn't make the ultimate decision, the county commissioners do, and I would have loved for us to be involved in the creation of this. Because the moratorium has been going on for 5 months now, 4 or 5 months.
Since September.
Since September. So it would have been great for us to have collaborated during this process, but I also think that we can get there without asking for an extension.
Okay,
So the planning commission, our planning commission met before you, and we let them know this was coming as well, and they would like to have it on their next meeting. Theirs is not until February 12th. And they said their staff, if we want to be included in a written referral response, we would need it by the 14th. Otherwise, we could present at their public meeting on the 21st.
Well, I think we should do both. And
But it won't have a chance to come back to you.
well,
That's what
I'm wondering if PCDC would consider having a special meeting.
Well, they had one tonight. We can't have one till this comes out, so it would have to be between the 14th and the, 14th and 20th.
Is there any, can we ask the county if we can get a sneak peek or if they can push that data?
I did ask her.
mean,
She said that she did not think it would be ready before then. This.
Or maybe they can delay their planning commission meeting because this is important. And it's starting to feel like we're being a little bit rushed by them. And I'm not sure what their deadline really, like what deadline are they reaching for? How are they
It's
working
the
backwards?
moratorium expiring. Yeah.
Well,
which they implemented and put into place to begin with. I don't see why this can't be bumped
I can.
an extra couple of weeks.
Well, the lead on this is Planner Hipley.
okay, well, let's talk to Kim Martinez too.
Kim Sanchez.
Kim Sanchez, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And let's see what we can do to juggle the timing around.
Would you like this on, if I get a sneak peek for the February 5th meeting? Yes, but if not, I guess we'll have to have a special meeting between the 14th and the 21st as well.
Well, and I think that's further argument to them to say, hey, but we need more lead time. That's just,
Well, we'll be talking to them Wednesday, so we can,
okay,
I'll let her know tomorrow, but I mean, we'll be in person with them Wednesday, so we can let them know this isn't enough time.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, if we want to do our due diligence and have planning commission do their due diligence. I think, yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What was the reaction with the planning commission earlier in the earlier meeting?
Surprise.
Surprised, I think. I did put in the chat, you had asked, about what that process for, what expansion meant, and it's not defined within their Boulder County's definitions, but I did in the chat put that process for what happens when you do want to have a minor expansion or something like that, so.
The chat won't work, right?
You're right, I'm
We
not.
we don't allow
Oh, okay.
chat to be included, but we just send it to the clerk. She'll send it out to everyone.
That'd be great.
Still a duty, sorry.
No,
that's okay.
So I just wanted to get it on your radar, so between now and the time the staff memo comes out, we can start thinking about what does the impact of that. I understand if it's adjacent to us, the impact, which could be a good thing, but for those that are not currently connected to the town, some of those larger general industrial sites, that's a different.
Yeah,
alternative.
I'd love to hear their rationale for the timing that they're proposing.
One more question. Could you also refresh in our memories of what is ag considered?
Thank you.
Is it
In the county.
in the county, how do they
Boulder
define
County
ag?
Council.
It might take me a second.
Yeah, that's okay.
We don't, yeah, we'll send you.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
Mm. Well, I wouldn't mind waiting because I think it's important for people to hear, and
That's up to you.
it would also be nice for us to,
Yeah, to be thinking about it, well,
right,
is it one house on 35 acres or, you know, like.
right, what else is involved in that?
Yeah, could it include a livestock yard?
Right, Circle K could have a livestock yard right there. They decided to go away.
No, I was just thinking of, you know, I was out in Fort Morgan and they have a huge impact on the neighbors about 3 miles away.
I'll share my screen real quick. All right. So for a code reference, it's 4-102 of Boulder County's development code, so,
You could just hear bigger.
oh yeah, my apologies.
No, you're fine.
Thinking about making it bigger.
Little bottom right one. Little plus there. That's good.
That's real big, yeah. All right, let's see. So as a general purpose, rural areas where conservation of agricultural resources is of a major value and where residential development compatible with agricultural use is allowed. So of your primary principal uses permitted, you have, let's see, agricultural business uses. I won't read them all, but just general ag, and then animal husbandry or whatever they call agricultural uses. And then
Feed or processing.
as far as commercial businesses, it looks like kennels, and then community uses. Pretty open as far as most institutional uses go. And then forestry uses are allowed. Industrial uses still look like they're tied to, at least relatively tied to ag themselves, except for the solid waste transfer facility seems to just kind of stand outside of that, and also C&D seem interesting.
And then mining uses.
Mining.
So you've got general lodging uses, but yeah, and then mining uses would be allowed as well. And these are all uses by right. Firing range for recreational uses. Most of those other ones seem pretty straightforward.
Oh, I think it's fair to say we're gonna wanna have some discussion.
Say all the hair on the back of my neck just went down.
Airport is under ag.
Yeah, so it's a pretty open, permitted use table, so, let's see what's prohibited. I think the question was what's actually prohibited, not allowed, right?
Well, no,
But at any rate, I think there's certainly some attention that needs to be paid.
Concrete and asphalt batch plants.
Are permitted in ag? Or prohibited? I
No,
can't see this.
accessory use is
Permitted.
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 Accessory.
Yeah, so they probably
As
have
an
to be tied to
accessory
a mining
use.
use, and then you could bring a concrete batching plant as an accessory use to that mining.
Okay,
That would be
well,
my base, that's. how
Wait,
it
we've got
normally
some work
runs.
to do.
we've got some work to do and, I think, you know, maybe we can, I know that we're having IGA working sessions, maybe we need a working session on this
Okay,
with staff in the county.
we do have an open workshop session for the 20th, they'll give us an extension.
Yeah, but I mean, before then, perhaps staff.
Yeah.
County staff and town staff can have a chat.
I'm glad you had us something that.
Yeah, thank you.
It's not nearly like our ag uses.
No,
It's
I
not
mean,
growing vegetables.
you know, you think ag and think maybe some cows and buffalo and a goat, but not that. Okay. All right, so I think pretty clear, we're gonna bring this back and we'll look to you for some updates. So thank you very much for that. And with that, I'm going to entertain a motion to move into executive session. Our executive sessions are closed to the public. So,
Read us in.
well, I'll wait for the motion.
Oh, where's, oh.
Do you want to read it? Yep, I'm coming. Okay. Thank you, everybody. You can just read the motion.
I move to go into executive session being conducted pursuant to CRS section 24-6-4024E and 24-6-4024B for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and instructing negotiators for receiving legal advice from attorneys representing the town on specific legal questions and specifically determining negotiating positions and strategies regarding the intergovernmental agreement between the town of Lyons, Boulder County, and obtaining advice as needed from legal counsel on related legal issues.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote to go into executive session.
That motion passes unanimously.
You and we'll wait and you
Brandon,
better.
I just sent you the new link. I'm gonna close this meeting and open the other one.
Thank you. I'll look for it right now.
Okay.